Welcome, my friends, to my talk today, which is about your PMP. Those of you who have gotten certified recently or maybe even several years ago know the amount of work you put in. You studied, you sacrificed, you passed the exam, and then you go looking for work, right? And what happens? Silence. No recruiters knocking, no dream job waiting, no red carpet rolled out. It's tough. It's real. And it's something a lot of new PMPs don't talk about enough. I'm here to tell you you're not alone. And more importantly, you're not stuck. Let's have a very quick reality check. Let's be honest. The PMP is a milestone. It's not a magic wand. Passing the exam does not guarantee a job. What it does is it gives you a foundation for a professional vocabulary, a set of tools, and a seat at the table. But the seat doesn't mean you'll be served dinner. You still have to present your value. You have to communicate your impact and show that you can solve problems. Now, what you actually need to land a role is bucketized in PMI's definition of what is project management. Come on now, you know what project management is. We often say it's the application of knowledge, skills, tools, and techniques to project tasks to achieve an end goal. So, when you think about what you need to ace that test, I want to challenge you. Knowledge. Knowledge is your foundation. Knowledge is key. It is the base. So do you know the ins and outs of project management as presented by the PMI in a traditional and in an agile sense? In other words, let's just keep it basic, plain. Do you recall your knowledge areas and your process groups as a certified PMP? Can you defend them in a job, in an interview? Can you speak to them? I remember going to a job at American Airlines and I was grilled for all I was worth about these knowledge areas and these process groups, not to mention the individual processes that piqued their interest. How comfortable are you in going into an organization without any instruction, but having the knowledge, knowing the 49 processes, understanding change management, having that knowledge of stakeholder engagement and risk response? If you have all of that and you're still as sharp as a tack, even though you got certified 10, 15 years ago, when it comes to that stuff, that's good. But guess what? Knowledge alone will not land you that job. That's right. You need to go to the next level. So what did I say? Knowledge and skills and tools and techniques. So let's talk about the tools, because for me, I have seen a gazillion times tools get me in the door. Where would I be without understanding Microsoft Project? I tell you, my career would not have taken off the way it did. But these days, people don't just use Microsoft Project alone. They don't just use Primavera alone. In fact, very few people use that. Nowadays, it's the Confluences and the Asanas and the Monday.coms and the Jiras of this world, not to mention all the other Microsoft tools. You gotta know that stuff. If you're looking to get a job in the major firms today, you need to know your tools. I encourage you, invest in tool knowledge. Invest in the tools themselves. I know, they're all in the cloud. It's a software as a service, very annoying model. You got to keep paying monthly, I know. But do it because you need to show proficiency in these tools. Your resume should be optimized for project-based language. You should have a LinkedIn profile that tells a compelling project story, as well as your tool story, right? You should also be aware of the situation, task, action, result model, the STAR model that showcases your thinking. And if you haven't already gotten a personal GPT that knows your ins and outs, you should, because that tool can help you get better with interviews that may be tool-centered, because some interviews just are. In addition to the tools, you need skills. So we talked about knowledge and skills. Well, you need communication. Are you able to hold a conversation? Are you able to hold a conversation with C-level executives, touching on the milestones and the bullets that they're looking for? Or are you a rambler? Don't be a rambler. You got to cut down on the rambling. What about EI, emotional intelligence? Can you lead a team through ambiguity? Do you feel comfortable stating your claim to managing change in an intentional and deliberate fashion? What is your problem solving approach? What is your leadership stance? What is your leadership mindedness? If you're asked these questions, even before they're able to see the skills and you're able to feel those questions well, then you have a chance to be called for the interview. But if you're waffling, probably not. The next thing you need is techniques. You need to have a technique for doing what you do, a technique for schedule, cost, scope, quality, resources, communication, risk, procurement, stakeholder. You should have a method to the madness. Have you got one? What about strategy? Do you have a strategy for your projects, your programs, your portfolios? If someone threw you into a new chaotic program, project, or portfolio, what would you do first? Do you have an answer to that? If you don't, these are signs that there's a lot for you to get good in. And I encourage you, take this transcript because it's given to you in YouTube, and I want you to analyze where you are weak so that you can ace your next interview. So are you applying with strategy for jobs? Are you applying with intention, or are you just spraying your resume all over the place? You got to be targeted, you got to be resilient, and you got to be deliberate. Now let's talk about resilience. This is a season. I don't want you to confuse delay with denial. Now, for me, when I got certified, I needed to get to a whole new level. I wanted to go up a notch. I didn't expect to find myself where I eventually did, but one thing I did was play the long game. I can apply all day long with intentionality, study the company, understand the products, understand what they're about, have some skin in the game, get into the organization's groove, and go for the interview. And it will just be so evident that you are pretty much one of them, just needing the paper to make it official. So for me, after getting PMP, I started speaking like a PMP, with command, with authority, not just waiting to be told what to do, but bringing solutions. Bringing solutions, and that's what I've always done since PMP. I learned the importance of taking the initiative. So the training organization I had started part-time, I took it up a notch. When the recession hit, I went harder. I became a registered education provider of the PMI. Now times have changed. I know nowadays eyeballs are the new currency. Some of you have been hesitating even starting a YouTube channel. You look disparagingly at influencers, but you should be an influencer yourself and show people how to do it. Maybe you should have a channel where you teach your own unique band of project management or your own discoveries in the field. Instead of saying, I'm not qualified, yes, you are. We need more authentic people that really have the certification and are really practicing, not just going off head knowledge, but really sharing real world, real life situations. Maybe that's you. Why don't you have a YouTube channel? Why aren't you on LinkedIn sharing your insights? You see what I'm saying? Why don't you have a podcast? These are the beginnings. Maybe you've been in the world of project management for a while and you have an idea brewing in your head for a totally different business. Why are you not implementing the business? Why are you not applying AI to your business? Why are you not building your business with AI understanding? Why are you in the corner doing nothing? That is not how to play the game. For me, I focused on adding visible value. That was the most important thing. Value before chasing titles. Maybe you're an entrepreneur. Don't just wait. Build. Start consulting. Maybe you can lead projects for a nonprofit in your community, maybe your local church. Do something. Can you teach what you've learned? Be a trainer, be a mentor, be a coach. Go on Wyzant, WYZANT.com and develop a profile if you're in the United States and start coaching and training others. If you truly know what you know and you're truly passionate about mentoring and coaching, you should be on Wyzant. You see, every experience counts. Every problem you solve makes you more credible. You don't have to sit still. You see, a moving ship It's easier to steer. If you're just in one place, there's no momentum. You're just there. Zero, right? Inertia is pushing against you and you're succumbing. No. So I'm going to give you some steps that I feel you can take right now. Number one, reframe your job hunt as a value search. Don't feel like you're a victim. Instead of who will hire me, ask the question, where can I solve real problems? Be a problem solver. Remember my Dixive model? Define every problem, identify the root cause, generate alternatives. Use Ed DeBono's 6 thinking hats and other innovative ways. Nowadays, you can even use AI to generate alternatives. Choose the best alternative. You can do that with AI agents and humans alike. Implement the alternative, verify it worked. You know how many people are willing to have a problem solver, someone who can solve problems? That's the question you need to ask yourself. Fix your resume and online presence and stop all that, oh, I don't have money to hire an expert to fix my resume. No, AI can do it for you. Prompt the right way, ask the right questions, and your resume can become like night and day in the blink of an eye with the right prompt. So make your resume project focused. Use metrics. Show ownership. Use the STAR model in your resume. And build a portfolio. Document every project you've led, projects that you might have self-initiated. Show timelines, show results, show tools. Speak results. What have you done? I remember going for a job as a PMP, and what they asked me pretty much was, okay, what have you done in your career? As if I knew, as though on cue, out came products that I had developed for the world of music and entertainment. I was going to a gaming company. Of course, the VP saw it and fell in love with this guy immediately. He has developed products. He understands what products are about. You just never know whether what you've done many, many years ago could be an interesting and helpful bargaining chip. I remember while I was at Honeywell trying to move from defense and space, my time had come to leave because they only allow you to stay so long, and I had overdone it. I had delivered more than I should, and I pretty much replaced myself, right? Pretty much worked myself out of a job, and I had no job on Monday. So I was trying to get into IT effectiveness. And what really helped was going back to my old experience where I had learned web development. And I put that on the resume. The hiring manager saw it, and I got the job. Not only was it in a better office, my favorite Honeywell office, oh dear, on Warner, but it was also more money. Do you get what I'm saying? So you have to dig back to things from the past and use them as a reference point. Don't look disparagingly at your past experience. It very well might be just what the employer is looking for. And I would also advise you to network. No one ever did anything great alone, as my mentor John Maxwell will say. Teamwork makes the dream work. Dream work comes from teamwork, right? Like for me, looking for that job at Honeywell, it was as a result of many people I had mentored and coached telling the hiring manager, you must hire this guy. I couldn't have done it alone. I couldn't have gone hired alone, but you got a network. Sometimes people can speak for you. They can go into places you can't and make the door suddenly open in your favor. Create your own opportunities as well. Think freelance, right? Think training, think local small business implementation. There's so many things you can do, but don't be discouraged. Getting PMP was hard, yes. But what is the next phase is the question for you. This is where leaders are built. Don't let rejection define you. Don't stop learning. PMI has the projectmanagement.com webinars. Oh my goodness. I mean, that is one thing PMI did right? Don't stop learning on that platform. Don't stop networking. Don't stop applying. And don't be afraid to create the door. If there is none open, create your own door. You've got the credential. There's no excuse. Other people don't have two heads. You can do it. Just remember, project managers, they don't wait idly by, oh, I'm waiting for change. You know what project management is? It's moving you from a current state to a future state. And you know project managers' mantras? The project manager's mantra is, we don't just wait for change. I'm not waiting for you to move me from A to B. I plan it as a project manager. I lead it. and I deliver it. So I encourage you, my friends, if you've been doubtful, if you've been scared, if you've been afraid, it's your buddy Phil here telling you the future is bright. You just need to take off the sunshades and perhaps you'll see it. Build your own ramp, build your own future. The best way to be ready for what's coming is to build it. Build it, my friends. I always advise people network with recruiters that have you in their mind. Sit down, break bread, have lunch, have some sort of communion with these people. And I'm not talking about religious communion. I'm talking about a communication, so that there's skin in the game. I cannot tell you how various entities like tech systems, I had two people looking out for me. They were just coming up with jobs and gigs when I didn't even know those existed, because they knew the hiring managers in the companies. If you don't have people like that, I had two people, Trent and Marsha. They were in my corner. They helped me get all these gigs at Motorola and American and so on and so forth. You need people like that. You can't do it alone. There are people who can come along for the ride with you. They seriously can. I remember getting into a company, Brown and Caldwell. That was where I got my big break. I met Mary, who helped me get the PMP. And if not for Aerotech, another company, Aerotech helped me get into Brown and Caldwell. And they found my resume. They found my resume on a portal. So if your resume is not on Dice, Monster, Career Builder, Indeed, LinkedIn, what are you doing? Come on now. You have to play the long game. You have to use everything you've got. So, my friends, over the past number of minutes, I've been encouraging you to play the long game. Don't be discouraged. Too many people getting discouraged quickly. You cannot afford to be discouraged. You have to go even harder. I want to say thank you to our friend Diamond, who sent in a chat earlier. So let's see what Diamond said here. Diamond said, I'm going to have to get another job. In the meantime, I can't wait for 3 rounds of interviews, feeling discouraged. So let me know, have you already gotten one interview and you're waiting for the other 2? And then Diamond also said, do you recommend getting the cert with Klarna? I was laid off, so it's expensive to pay for the cert now. Now, I'm not too familiar with Klarna. What exactly does Klarna do? What exactly is that? So I know that they're a fintech company. They provide online financial services. I'm not too familiar with that. But what I would recommend for anyone who is looking, including yourself, for a job right away, is to stay motivated. For me, the most important thing in my job search was staying motivated. And that meant having a group of people around me, inner circle, friends who truly cared. But on top of that, the thing that really kicked in for me, the thing that really helped, was having a team of professional recruiters. You get what I'm saying, Diamond? Let me know if you copy. Okay. So, okay, you're getting interviews. Okay, that's great. So you cannot afford to be discouraged, but you do need to have, in my opinion, a group of recruiters around you, people who know the game of searching for jobs. So when I was searching, I had two very, like I mentioned, two very formidable recruiters who helped me search, who, the boots on the ground doing the work. I didn't have to do the work. They knew the companies that were looking, they knew the recruiters, and they knew what would be a great fit. And they helped me get some really great place jobs that changed my career. They helped me get into Motorola. They helped me get into American. Without those folks, I wouldn't have had a chance because I didn't know what was going on. So for you, my recommendation is for you to find yourself engaged, learning, busy, taking advantage of this downtime. And if Klarna is one of such things that can help you, absolutely go for it. Accept it's price prohibitive. Don't waste your funds in going for something that may not really change the game for your employment. But if it will change the game, by all means, do it. It's like me when I was searching, I had to go get the PMP, and it was a little bit of a drain on my resources. but getting it changed the game and elevated me into the realm of looking for six-figure jobs within weeks, from being in the high 49s, not even making 50K. I immediately catapulted into making six figures within weeks. So my recommendation is, if it is going to change the game significantly, by all means invest. But if it's a black hole, probably don't want to do that. Okay? I hope that gave you some context. Um oh, I see what you mean. Okay. So are you talking about getting PMP certified? Because if you're talking about getting PMP certified, I highly advise it, especially if you're qualified. Now, for those who are looking to go for the interview, I have a limited offer here for a new platform that I'm working on to help those who are looking for work. And this kind of assumes you have some project management education, preferably a PMP. But if you don't have a PMP, you could still work in this app. So I'm going to put a link to it, and it's just called the PMP Brutal Coach. I'm going to share it with you momentarily because, having gone through my experiences, I realized a lot of people are not aware of what the interview could take. The interview could be brutal, it could be exhausting. Like Diamond is talking about 3 rounds. Absolutely. But not just that it takes 3 rounds, it takes energy, it takes a lot of getting prepared. And you got to be on your A game every single one of those interviews. So let me show you here what exactly this is all about, because this may very well help those of you going for, you know, full on project management interviews. So let's take a look. So over here, I put a link. You got to sign in with your Google account. It's called the PMP Brutal Coach, and it's going to test you based on the 4 things I mentioned earlier: knowledge, skills, tools, and techniques, which are PMI's mantras. So I base it on my experience, my principles about what you need going for the interview. Your knowledge must be solid, and I'm telling you, they will grill you. You should be able to speak to it. So my knowledge question is: describe a time when you had to defend the PMI process groups or knowledge areas in a real world project. How did you use that knowledge to solve a specific problem, and what was the measurable outcome? So if you have voice to text, you can just use voice to text and just give it your honest, raw, non-aided. Please do not use AI. Don't use AI to answer this. This has to be you, right? So I want you to either type it out from your head, or you could speak it into like Word, copy it, paste it in. So that's the first question. Second question is: tell me about a project where your emotional intelligence or leadership was crucial. Follow the question, put it in there as well. And then tools: which project management tools are you most proficient in? And have you used it to deliver specific measurable results? Don't just name tools, prove your expertise. And then when it comes to techniques, if you were thrown into a new chaotic project tomorrow, what would be your first 3 steps? Okay. And then the tool will score you. You will get your brutal feedback. Sometimes the feedback is it's quite stern, so be ready. But try your best and go ahead and let me know what the tool told you based on your experience. Because again, I am testing this tool for wider rollout. This is a you're the very first set of people to go into this tool. But please use your own real world answers. Do not use any artificial intelligence to prepare, so that it gives you the honest truth about how ready you are for the interview. Okay. And as time goes on, if I were to update this, you'll also get updates, but now it's just in the testing stage, because I really want you to succeed. Those of you looking for work, looking for opportunities, for me, I'll tell you the secret sauce to my interviews. What made me do well in interviews: it was the knowledge. I was solid in all the project management knowledge, the skills. The number one skill that I should say helped me was the ability to communicate, the ability to maintain eye contact, not in a threatening way, but in a confident and friendly way, the ability to just converse, to feel at ease, not to feel bottled up. My body language was very natural. I would make the interviewer feel at ease, because you couldn't make me not feel at ease. I had developed a huge sense of confidence with a PMP. It took me from feeling like a dwarf to feeling like a giant. I went into those interviews. I'm like, what are you going to ask me, a PMP, that I can't answer? Having earned my PMP, having put in the blood, sweat, and tears. I'm not talking about the shortcuts where people will say, I only studied for 2 days, Phil. And no. I studied for 6 months. I knew this thing inside out. So I had the knowledge, I had the skills, the tools and techniques. I was already quite proficient in the tool of the day, which was Microsoft Project. Today, you folks who are going for interviews, you need to be all up in the Jira, the Confluences, the version ones, and all that stuff. And then I was able to talk about techniques that were needed. I was absolutely solid when it came to these 4 areas. And if you are, as my buddy Ed wrote a book, The Magnetic Project Manager, you will be magnetic. You will be memorable. They won't forget you. There's so many people going for interviews. Forget them in a second. There's nothing unique, nothing original. They don't know the content. They're just fluffing and fudging it. No, you don't want to be like that. You want to be intentional. You want to be a beast. So when you leave, they will remember that a PMP was there. And I'll just give you another example, talking about how I got my foot into the door at Motorola. I went for an interview at Motorola. The interview seemed to go well, but at the end, the feedback I got was, you're really good, as a project manager, but we want someone who has more experience with these hardware installations. But as the proverbial saying goes, we'll keep your resume on file. Okay. Within about 2 or 3 weeks, I get a phone call. Oh, remember that interview you went for at Motorola? Well, the hiring manager passed your name on to his colleague. They're interested in interviewing you for this divestiture program manager role. Talk about leaving an impression, because that hiring manager told his colleague, I interviewed a really good guy. You might want to look into that, because they were looking for someone in the IT department to be the program manager. And that's how I got the gig. It wasn't as a result of my first interview just working out so well and I was hot. No, but I left a mark. You get what I'm saying? You got to leave a mark. And you just never know when that door, that proverbial door, will swing open. And till today, I still have a great rapport with that hiring manager. Is a buddy of mine, my boss who hired me. I still am in contact with her, and it was just a match made in heaven. But I got to give a shout out to Tech Systems, Trent and Marsha. Those folks, they worked overtime for me. They're like, we got to get you a job. We got to get you in the door. We got to get you there. And they just kept on looking and looking. So, Diamond, I don't know if you have someone looking on your behalf. I don't know if there's someone helping you. If there is, just keep that rapport going. And you can never have enough agents, people helping you find that job. Okay. For those of you who are going for the interview, don't forget, go on to the PMP Brutal Coach, get some advice. And I'm sure this will add tremendous value to your preparation process, because you got to be solid in your storytelling about projects you've managed, about where you've been and what you've done. All right. Any other questions other than Diamond's question? My friends on Instagram, any questions? LinkedIn, any questions? I'm trying to see if I got any questions that I might have missed. Let's see. Any questions that I missed? I don't see any on LinkedIn. Okay. Well, I guess it's a wrap in that case. Okay. Well, my friends, I sincerely wish you all the best. Try that PMP Brutal Coach. I'm going to be updating it as the days and weeks go on. I'm also going to be adding some insights and videos. So just keep plugged into the page. And if you're looking for jobs, don't be shy. Okay. Let me know which questions you have. Let me know which content you would like to see, and I will continue to put in the information. All right. So Diamond said, I'm a new subscriber. Thanks for the encouragement. Okay. Okay. I see. I see. Okay. Well, Diamond, why don't you do this? Why don't you stay tuned to the channel, but also go over to our Praizion site and send a message. If you go to contacts, it's at praision.com. Okay. There's so many free pieces of either software. For example, I'm developing a free quiz that is going to test people just like the real PMP exam. And I'm currently working on that. So if you want to be kept in the loop, definitely send that message on to praision.com, and you'll be able to begin. Actually, let me put this in the chat because just a few days ago, I put in the first version, just 20 questions, and it's a very base intermediate quiz, but I think it might help you in your journey to become a PMP. So let me find that link. I'm going to share it with you in a few seconds. I call it the PMP IQ test. And let's see if I can get you that link. This might be a good link to wake you up into the world of PMP exam. All right, there you go. So I'll put that in the chat. And when my 175 question test, which will be free, is ready, I will definitely be sending it to you if you send a message through our website. Okay? All right. So that's it right over there. That's the link. Find it in the chat. And I really hope it all goes well for you. I hope you find a new gig again, and you'll be laughing all the way to the bank, hopefully, very soon. All right, my friends. Well, that's all I've got for now. I wish you the best in your job search. Keep going, pedal to metal, and you'll get there. You just have to play the long game. Sometimes finding your dream job, it could take a while. You know how I found my dream job? After 9 months of searching, I realized the answer was within. I realized I needed to step up to the entrepreneurial calling, and I have never looked back since 2010. Actually, 2009. 2010 was one of the biggest years that I had in the world of project management training because I got break after break that eventually established the organization, and I knew there was no turning back after that. But it was quite scary in the beginning, because I got into it as a result of not having a job for 9 months. I know there's some of you out there who are hesitating to go into your own business. Don't do that. You only live once. You got to take a chance now. Thank you, my friends. I'll see you soon. Bye for now.